Well, folks, the cat's out of the bag in a somewhat surprising announcement today, March 7th, 2002. Banned and restricted announcement, and Lurrus just used up 2 of its 9 lives here. Finally, getting the axe in Modern, most importantly, and Pioneer too. Modern, now no longer under the shadow of Lurrus, and I've been calling for this for a long time, personally. Modern has been a format dominated by Lurrus since the card came out, obviously. It's pretty insane that they added 3 mana to this card. It's still one of the best cards in the format. Companion mechanic as a whole, kind of a mistake, but Lurrus just a clear outlier. Companion restriction basically saying build your deck well by playing a lot of really good cheap cards, right? And of course, Lurrus, I played at SCG Philly a few weeks ago, and there were 4 players to a table, and I sat down many rounds, and it was just Lurrus. And it might have been Burn, Death Shadow, Hardened Scales. It might have been Prowess, Boggles, whatever, because there are, at least a dozen different viable Lurrus decks, but everyone playing Lurrus gets very tiring over time. So I am very, very happy to see this. I think that banning Mishra's Bauble could have been a way to maybe try and, dodge this a little bit, but just going to nip it in the bud here. Lurrus is no longer legal in Modern. And realistically, this isn't going to, change things that much. Burn will still exist. Death Shadow will still exist. Hardened Scales will still exist. Hammer Time will still exist. Because the reality is that the reason why they're banning Lurrus is because the opportunity cost was so low to play Lurrus. It wasn't like you were building a Lurrus deck. You were just building a very efficient deck. Lurrus fit within the paradigm what you were doing, and maybe you cut Street Wraith, or maybe you cut, Batter Skull from your deck. But the cost was very, very low. These decks are still just doing what they want to do with or without Lurrus. Kind of like cutting, Ponder from the format or something like that. Just removing that really ubiquitous element completely, which I think is, again, for the good. Pioneer, I play a lot of Pioneer, but this is the kind of thing where I think Lurrus shouldn't be legal. And to go on top of that, I think, honestly, the solution is to just remove the companion rule. I know it would be a very, very big change, but the joke's gotten pretty old at this point. The companion rule, there are 10 companions. 2 of them are very, very good, and Lurrus being too good. Yorian's also very, very good. A few are playable. We kind of get the joke at this point, right? Lurrus goes in everything. Yorian goes in very large, dopey, mid-range, grindfest decks. Obosh will go into a few modern decks that are kind of cheating with Bone Pressure Giant and Light Up a Stage or whatever. Cards that cost, 3 but 1. Kahira goes into creatureless decks, and occasionally you see Gigantha in decks where you're taking no actual, time off for Gigantha. I'm playing Affinity, now playing a double colors, I'll put a Gigantha on my board. I'm playing Tron, now playing a double colors, put a Gigantha on my board. That's the 5 playable ones. And the other 5, no one's playing Yamari ever. No one's playing Lutri ever. Except for me in that cool stuff video. But for the most part, the joke's gotten pretty old at this point. It's pretty clear what they all do. It's just kind of tiring, honestly, and it's not really adding much to the format. I would be very, very happy if they just remove the companion mechanic, and then they can unban Lurrus, and you can just play with the card Lurrus face up as an actual card, because it's a pretty good card, honestly. It's a fine card. Nothing incredible. Pretty good. So, personally, I think the end game here should be to just remove the companion rule. It's a mistake. I think they realized it was a mistake. They already tried to fix it once, but I think it just alters the paradigm of what Magic is too much, and isn't enough diversity among the actual companions themselves. There were 20 or 30 really cool companions. They all had pretty difficult restrictions that were fun to build around, sure. But there's realistically 3. And the ones that are really, really good are really, really easy to build around. So that's it. That's the big change. There was also some bans in Pauper. I don't really follow Pauper too closely here. But surprise, surprise, a Storm card gets banned and an Affinity card gets banned. Who would have thought? Right? But don't follow Pauper too closely. That ain't my department. That's above my pay grade. But Lurrus is gone. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. I'm pretty happy about it. What do you think? And what do you think about the companion rule being nixed from the game entirely? Yay or nay? I'm Nick Davis. Follow my content. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate your watching. And thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see some cool new Modern decks coming up.